But he has like very quick, very intense relationships. Maybe, you know, people thought this would be different because he's a dad, but apparently not.
I'm Jessica Finn, senior exclusives reporter at the U.S. Sun.
And I'm Gina Bacchiacchi, and I am the entertainment editor at The Sun. And we have some big breaking news. Do you want to share, Jess?
Yeah, so I just got the kind of official confirmation that Pete Davidson and Elsie Hewitt are officially over. It's been kind of like there's been weeks of speculation that their relationship was on the rocks. It's been reported that they were like in the stages of, quote, figuring things out, if you will, over the last couple of weeks. But I have spoken to a source who has confirmed to me exclusively that things are officially over. Apparently, there's been a lot of trouble brewing behind the scenes, especially over the last few months. Elsie is dealing with a newborn baby. Basically, the Scottie Rose was born back in December, on December 12th. So the baby, Scottie, is like, you know, less than 6 months old, or just about 6 months old. And she's been having a really hard time, from what I understand, being kind of a single parent because Pete travels so much for work, of course. He's been spending a lot of time in LA and Vegas and different Netflix specials. And, you know, he's frequently away from the home. And Elsie really, I guess, was craving a lot more support and was hoping for more support on that end. And of course, it's a difficult situation for Pete because Pete's got to work. I mean, the guy needs to make money for his family. So often that work takes him away from his home in New York.
I did feel like he had like a lull in his career, which I think you covered at the time, where things were really quiet. But in recent months, things have really picked up for him. Like we went through and just saw all the events that he's been at, even in the past week. Okay, he was in LA. He was at the roast of Kevin Hart. He performed a Netflix special, or Netflix is a Joke performance the day before. Then he was in New York for the Webby Awards. He was at the Netflix upfronts. Like, he's busy.
Yeah, he was in Vegas last month for, I'm forgetting what event, but he's been very busy. And you're right, absolutely. He had a real lull in his career, and things are blooming for him right now in his career, which is, you know, great for him and great for their finances, but not so great for a new dad and a mom who's really craving some more support, like some more emotional support really at home. So it seems like that has become the breaking point for them, really.
Wow.
You know, Pete, I think, really looks at it as like, well, I'm making money and I hire people to help you, and this is what it is. And Elsie is not. She feels lonely. She just posted on Thursday about how she was dealing with a screaming baby all day, and she didn't get a moment to herself to even pee, and the baby finally fell asleep, and she said the silence is deafening, and it's so clear that she's feeling very much alone and overwhelmed as a mother. And
I was reading that, and like it kind of hit me like that is relatable, and girl, we've been there, and it's a lot. So yeah, I saw that post, and it's just so relatable as a new mom. Just feeling really overwhelmed, but I can't imagine how hard it is to now be going through a breakup and have a partner, a co-parent who is traveling all over the place. And I know you said your source said during their pregnancy he was really busy too. Yeah. He was in Saudi Arabia.
He was in London too. He was filming something in London as well. So he's been really kind of ping-ponging all over the globe. And, you know, I think it is my understanding that Elsie was a little bit more understanding right before she gave birth. And then like once the baby was out, and it becomes very much more real, right? Like, you know, the loneliness and the fact that you have something that needs you 24/7 becomes a very real problem. And so I think it was the fact that things didn't seem like they were going to change once she gave birth either. And, you know, that's just there was a real disconnect there for the two of them, because it's like, what is he supposed to do at the end of the day? I mean, this is his career. You know, I think that maybe there is some like, she's sitting at home alone with the baby, and she's seeing her baby daddy at all these fun functions among celebrities, and I can only imagine how isolating that probably feels.
Not to mention how postpartum hormones make you crazy. And I'm sure she's feeling really sensitive and feeling just like very vulnerable. And the fact that, you know, just like wanting him to be there, and the fact that he's not there must be really, really hard. So I mean, I'm sure people can say like, oh, well, Pete's always been like this. Like, what did you expect? But I really feel for her because it must be really, really hard to be going through this by yourself. And their home base is New York City. And he's in LA, he's everywhere. And yeah, and she's been definitely posting a lot about how hard motherhood is. And I also noticed that she's been posting a lot of branded content. So it seems like she's getting back to work. She's a model and an influencer, so it makes sense she is now like mom-fluencing. She's the new face, I think, of Tommy Tippy, which is a bottle and like baby accessory company. And then she did a post recently for a baby clothing brand. So, I mean, that's actually pretty smart. You know, she's like, you know, if I'm going to be a single mom, I have to get my ducks in a row here financially.
Yeah, I have to start hustling basically, right? And of course, Pete has been dealing with his own financial things that he's going through. He's been desperately trying to offload his Staten Island condo. That thing has been on the market for 4 years. It appears to still be in contract right now, so it's about to sell.
It's like in the process, but not officially sold. But it looked like from what you were telling me that's been in contract for a long time.
Yeah, it's
so
been
there
in
might
contract
be issues
for over a month. And like I've seen this apartment go into contract and go out of contract in the last 4 years. So I wouldn't be surprised if this deal falls through. He's selling it. He bought it for like I think 1.2 million, and now he's selling it for 850,000. I mean, and he's done extensive, from my understanding, he's done extensive renovations to the place. So he is losing out big time on that. He also sold his property upstate. He has a really beautiful property that's upstate. So he's definitely getting his own financial ducks in a row. It's my understanding that he's basically selling these properties to just make sure that, you know, the family has funds and finances to navigate this new reality that they're going to be facing as separate parents that, you know, the good news is that as tumultuous as things may seem in the moment, sounds like they're both very focused on properly co-parenting Scottie at the end of the day. Like that's their primary focus, to see how they're going to divide their parenting time with each other and, you know, see how to navigate that in a real, hopefully safe and secure way moving forward.
Yeah, and it sounds like Pete is generally in a better place than he has been in past years. Like he was last in rehab and he went twice in 2024 and they started dating in early 2025. So it seems like and he seems to be doing really well in his career. So at least he seems to be in a decent spot from what we're aware. So, you know, at least there's that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, as we know, Pete and Elsie had a history of having troubles, even though they only have been dating, even though they have a baby together, they've only been together a little over a year.
Yeah.
I know you reported, I believe it was right after the pregnancy last summer, that they were fighting constantly, and there was
it was a pretty dark report actually. So it was July of 2025. So she had announced her pregnancy in this very loving post about, you know, showing her and Pete and them holding each other and canoodling in these very like pregnant looking photos, and the caption was adorable, like, well, now everyone knows we had sex. It was very cute and funny. And then, you know, just weeks later, I had a source telling me that they were fighting like crazy, constantly fighting, and that they were recording each other's conversations. Like they were like secretly recording each other, which is like terrible. Like it's very toxic.
Oh,
to be like,
God, that sounds terrible.
I need to record this for evidence later in case I need it. So, you know, who knows what those conversations may or may not hold, and you know if they may appear somewhere down the line in some sort of litigation. But it was a very dark. It sounded like some very dark fights that they were having, and this was like, you know, she just announced that she was pregnant. Now Pete and her had gotten together in January of 2025. By March or April, she was pregnant. So this was, they were pregnant like within just months. By July, she makes the announcement, and she was already pretty heavily pregnant, like visibly. She gives birth in December, so she was like, you know, halfway there. So
she probably got pregnant around February, March, if you give birth in December. Doing my math here. So everything happened really, really quickly.
Really, really quickly. And like to be in those kinds of fights when somebody's like pregnant, I can't even imagine what they were going through.
I can't imagine, like having a baby is so stressful. So I can't even imagine having a baby with someone you just met and you're just figuring it all out, and they're both pretty young. She's just turned 30.
Yeah.
So Yeah, that must also be really difficult because she's a model. She's a model at the end of the day. I know she's an influencer, and but like it must be really difficult when you have this baby and you can't just like run back right into work like Pete did.
Yeah, I can only imagine the frustration.
Yeah, I'm sure that's incredibly frustrating, and it feels really unfair.
Yeah, I think that at the end of the day, I think she was really hoping that there would be like more opportunities quicker than But you have to be realistic because you still have to take care of the baby, It's not like people are running to hire you. It's,
Yeah, and I mean, Pete does not have a great track record with relationships.
No.
As we know. Shall we go through the list?
I mean, God, I don't know if I can even remember them all. We have, the first major one was Cassie David.
Yes.
That was
right. It's Larry David's daughter,
yes.
who's an actress and director, and she famously said in her memoir that Pete dumped her by text and then went public with Ariana Grande the next day.
And then Pete and Ariana got engaged.
They got engaged within 3 weeks. So that must have been difficult for Cassie to see her boyfriend of several years go, like, have a new girlfriend and get engaged with a giant, I remember it was like a giant pear-shaped ring. And then they broke up really quick. Her ex, Mac Miller, died. And then she was like, what am I doing? And broke up with Pete. And then, I mean, there's so many.
And then he got with
Kaya Gerber.
Yeah,
the Cindy Crawford's daughter.
I feel like that fell through the cracks of my brain.
Well, I mean, it was a flash in the pan,
right.
and I was just like catching up with this. She was only 18, Kaya, when they dated, and Pete was 28 or 29. And apparently they broke up because after a huge fight. I remember an outlet said that they got into a huge fight and Cindy Crawford, Kaya's mom, got involved, and then Pete went to rehab and they broke up in late 2019, early 2020.
And then, was it Suki Waterhouse that he ended up on the front lawn of, like, in that accident?
Chase Dewey Wonders.
Chase Dewey Wonders, yes, thank you. Chase Dewey, thank you.
Chase Dewey Wonders. Wait, but before that was Kim Kardashian.
How do you forget Kim?
Kim. So it was fresh off of Kim's divorce from Kanye West.
Oh my gosh.
Pete dated Kim in a very whirlwind romance, and they were posting each other. He got a tattoo that said, "My girl is a lawyer," and then
she never became a lawyer.
No, but she's trying. She's trying.
I think she gave up.
Okay, well,
whatever.
She still helps people in some way.
Yes, that's true.
Even though it's not happening.
Yeah.
And then he infamously got initials of her kids' names on his chest, and that really pissed off Kanye. Kanye was calling him Skeet and threatening his life, and it was a huge drama. And then Kim ended up ending it, I think partially because of all the drama, and she's like, I'm dealing with a lot of stuff with my ex.
Can you imagine Kanye as an ex and Pete Davidson as an ex? Like, I can't even.
I really can't.
No, I can't. Like, you put that on yourself.
And then he dated Chase Dewey Wonders,
yes,
the
then
actress.
Ended up in the car accident in some that
he
almost
crashed into a house in Beverly Hills, and that ended. And
I forget the last one. There's one other one.
Madeline Klein.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yes, they dated. He also dated the girl from Bridgerton, Phoebe.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
He dated that actress. He dated Kate Beckinsale. He dated Emily Ratajkowski.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
Somewhere in between all of this. But he has like very quick, very intense relationships. Maybe, people thought this would be different because he's a dad, but apparently not. But it does seem that they're handling this privately and
as possible.
Right. And it seems like, there's no legal cases regarding this as we know right now.
Yep.
And I will say, even if I really feel for Elsie as a new mom dealing with a breakup sounds like a nightmare.
It really does.
A complete nightmare.
Yeah.
I can't imagine how difficult that is.
Yeah.
So I really feel for her, even if people are saying, oh, she should have known Pete's a player. He doesn't take women seriously. He never lasts long. Like, it's still, I'm sure she thought things would be different.
Yeah. And now, forever, they are bonded together. Now, Pete can dump a girl and move on, but now they have this kid together. Like, there's no escaping each other for the rest of your lives. So that's like,
That's so scary.
I know. I mean, like, that's it. Like, you know, you got to be careful with who you have a kid with. Like, they're stuck together now forever.
I mean, I really hope that he, you know, takes care of her financially. It sounds like she's living in their apartment, as far as we know, and he is going from place to place right now, from what you understand.
From what I understand,
yeah. So I guess more will be revealed, and stay tuned to the U.S. Sun for more details as they come.
Thanks so much for tuning in, and please subscribe to the Sun Showbiz for more celebrity news on YouTube.